All right, well, I think we are all here, so I will call the meeting to order at 6 p.m. First order of business is the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next order is, so we didn't have it written in here, Julie, but...
Oh, the introductions.
Introductions.
Yes.
So I figure we'll go around and just do introductions
Sure.
real quick for the camera. Starting over here.
I'm Peter Magnet. I'm a school director from the town of Franklin.
Reddick Darnell Martin, board chair.
Megan Conley, Swanton.
Elaine Nestor, Board Director, Highgate.
Joanne Johnston, Franklin.
Tracy Pilvin, Board Director, Highgate.
Don Collins, Swanton.
Stephanie Gagne, Swanton.
Dan Palmer, co-principal for the high school.
Laura McAllister, Director of Finance and Operations.
Bonnie Moulton, Director of Human Resources.
Julie Regenball, Superintendent.
Adam Boothlet, just tech support.
That's very
much.
Next item is correspondence, visitors, and public comment. Do we have anyone here or online? I see none. All right. Next item we have agenda review. Julia, was there anything we needed to?
The only thing is we have a student here to talk about Thunder News, and I didn't know whether we wanted to have the student go before administrative reports.
Yes. Unless you want to stay for the administrative reports.
I can get it out of the way.
Yes, I guess. Potential school board member.
Sorry about that. I didn't even leave school.
Not yet, though. First we have to approve our minutes.
Yes,
And
of
then yours,
course.
Okay. What's your
First,
name
the
again?
minutes.
What's your name again?
Ricardo Perez.
Ricardo. All right, thanks, Ricardo. Okay, so number 7A will go ahead of the reports. Next item, I'm looking for an approval for the minutes for March 25th, 2025.
I'll make the motion.
All right, everyone for Elaine.
I'll second.
Tracy's a second. Any discussion on the minutes? All in favor of approving the minutes from March 25th, please say aye.
Aye.
All oppose or abstain? Motion carries 8-0. All right, Ricardo, Thunder News, you are up.
Hello, everyone. For those of you who don't know me, well, you did just say my name. My name is Ricardo Perez, and I won the Doug DeSorcy Memorial Award. So I got the chance to win like $1,000. I think I took $700, and it all went toward the news program in our school. So we got a really good. We got cameras and. We got really good audio sound system, and yeah, and so I actually just came back from recording for a little bit for Thunder News. I asked like the musical, what's your name and what do you do for a living, but they're all in their characters, so it's like a really cool bit. And then what does MVU musical mean to you? So it's just little things like that, just going around the community and inspiring creativity from individuals and from different groups, and promoting different events that are going on in the community. Like we promoted Beyond the Bell. We went to the after-school program and promoted the Dungeons and Dragons with the head coordinator, Jaden Smith, who's a student in our school. He's a freshman. And yeah, I'm just really thankful that I have the opportunity to do this, and I'm really thankful to Mr. Palmer for giving me that. And
Can I just pause you for a second?
yes.
So you can catch your breath. You guys may remember Ricardo was here back roughly in October. And you guys had asked that Ricardo come on back, kind of give you an update on some of the things he's been up to. He was one of the couple people that put in for the Doug DeSorcy. It's called the Puck Stops Here Award. And another student was awarded some money from that as well. You may remember that from a board report a while back. The other student was making some care packages for people, in particular some like hygiene packages. And also Ricardo had won that. And so the Thunder News is people see it during tea break time.
Yes.
And there's a couple of them that help produce that, and it's also shown during tea break time. So, and just to kind of hear some of the other stuff that he's been up to, I wanted you guys to have the opportunity, if you had questions for him, or kind of talk a little bit about what your future plans are and what you're doing and what you've been up to.
All right. So I'm also the historian for National Arts Honor Society, so that's kind of what I've been up to, just a little bit of photography. I was just taking pictures for the musical. And, you know, one thing I've learned is to take as many opportunities as possible and not just, you know, take those opportunities, but create more opportunities. And so I'm really thankful that MVU has given me the ability to take so many opportunities, like work in the student council so that I can become the blood program leader for the Red Cross organization. We had a 95% turnout rate in that, so that was really amazing. I did that last year as well, and I am planning to go to college. I applied for multiple different universities, and I actually got into my dream school. So I applied to UVM, of course. I got in, and then I applied to Notre Dame, Boston College, and Duke University. And I got into all of those. So, yeah.
That's amazing.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. And yeah, I'm planning to study probably psychology, just because it's a little meaningful toward me and my personal history. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I didn't expect to get in. It was a really low acceptance rate, but I think when you really want something, you're able to pull out different. I'm trying to word it. I'm sorry. I'm a little nervous. But
Yeah, you're going to Duke.
yes.
So he's.
I was gonna say, where is he going?
We're both the cliffhanger. Right?
Oh yeah, I'm going to Duke. Yeah, sorry about that. I thought I mentioned it. I'm speaking way too fast.
He's got 4 weeks until the deadline.
Yeah.
But yeah, going to Duke University, and I help set up different events around the school as well. It doesn't hurt to ask is something else that I've learned. And so I asked Mr. Palmer if we were able to put on a seniors versus teachers basketball game for our school the day before break, and he said yes, and it's happening. And we are inviting the parents of the seniors to come along, and I made an advertisement already, and they can bring money because there's going to be a 50-50 raffle to help support a senior banquet as well. So I think that's really cool. And yeah, that's kind of what I've been up to. Of course, different events as well, like Mr. Thunderbird, just keeping me, engaged. I work outside of school as well. McDonald's, it's a really good job. It's really cool. And then
Are you manager yet?
no, I'm not managing yet. I'm a crew trainer. Yeah, so I did get promoted, but yeah. And now I work at the Tyler Place as a camp counselor over the summer, so that should be really fun. Yeah.
Nice. Good.
I want to know if you know Cooper Flag.
I do know Cooper Flag.
All right.
Yeah, I'm hoping. I don't know if he'll be returning, but that'd be really cool if I saw him at
I
Duke.
think you'll be back. You'd like to win a national championship.
Yeah. We'll win next year. I mean, I'll be in the team next year. But, yeah.
Have you decided to syndicate your Thunder News? Is it going to go nationwide?
Is it going to go nationwide? Maybe it'll expand there.
I subscribe to it.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yeah. So something really cool about Thunder News is that people get community service hours for helping and recording different events. And freshmen actually just asked me if they wanted to help, or they asked how can I get involved next year, which is something that I really want because I want this to be a tradition. I want to look back at this channel 10 years from now, and then still see posts coming up and different events coming up that I used to be a part of, and be like, look how they're doing it now. And I think that's really beautiful.
Yeah. Anybody have any questions for Ricardo or?
Do you snowboard?
I
Just
do.
kidding.
I do
Just kidding.
snowboard.
It's
Yeah.
in my front yard, snowboarding.
Yeah. JP closed, so we had to use your front yard.
It's
But
quite a show.
thank you.
So I just want to ask, with everything that you're doing, ideally, what do you want to do after college? Like, what are you driving towards as a goal?
After college, it's going to be a lot of college. My plan is to become a clinical psychologist and kind of work on the medical side, or start off as a therapist. I just want to listen to people, and sometimes that's all people really need, is just someone to talk to. And
All right, then you're coming back here, right?
I'll probably come back here.
All right, we
Because
expect a
Vermont
report.
is in dire need of highly skilled clinical
But,
psychologists.
yeah, thank you for the question.
No, it's a great, appreciate it.
This is not a question, but after I met you the first time and reflected on what Boys State was 50 years ago and what you did in Boys Nation, I hope you won't give up the thought of a political career.
I
You have
definitely
a lot of charisma and you're smart, and we need good people in politics.
Okay, I definitely will. Thank you so much. That's something I'll experiment with and write bills, and you'll be seeing them on the news someday.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you. Good job.
All right, thank you, Dan.
Yeah, no, I wanted him to be able to come on back in and talk to you guys about what he's been up to, because he's not an idle kid and he's done a lot. And, I also wanted to just highlight the fact that, when our kids really apply themselves, they can go anywhere. And he applied to some fantastic, Duke's acceptance rate is 3.67%.
Yeah.
It is incredibly low. And so he got in, and he came running over to tell me, and it was just fantastic. And it was like, I'm not a Duke fan, but that's okay. I'm like,
Well, we can
I told him, I
now.
said, for you, I said, I'll expect you to see you in, indoor Cameron Stadium, and I'll root for you. But
You can do it for 4 years.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. But our kids, when they apply themselves, really can go wherever they want. And I wanted, to Notre Dame. I mean, I've been here for a very long time, and I don't recall. We've had kids who've gone on to Ivy League schools and all of that. But it's been a long time since I've known a student here who's applied to Duke and gotten in. Which I thought was fantastic, and I was like, I think that's something they want to hear and should hear, is that our kids can go really wherever they want. They just, apply themselves and put themselves out there and get involved, which we're always encouraging all kids to do.
Yeah, no, I think that's
Yeah.
great. All right. Okay, so next item we have is administrative reports. Seeing as you're already talking, Dan, want to talk about
Sure.
MVU report, Dan and Christy.
And Christy has joined us. I hope you drove safely up from Boston.
I did.
Okay. I don't know if anybody has any particular questions about it, or if you just want me to kind of go down through it. I'm happy to do that. But if people have already read it, I'm happy to answer any questions. But I can go down through it if people want, whichever you'd like me to do.
Are there any questions on it ahead?
We had the blood drive, which you heard about from Ricardo, and so this year, obviously Ricardo was kind of in charge of it last year as a junior. This year, he and a junior have kind of taken over, so that next year that they've got some of that senior leadership to help kind of continue that through. So that was good. Rowan Gregory was the junior that really helped out and really took a great role in it this year. Yeah.
So I have a couple questions. So
Yes, sir.
the VT CAP testing,
Yep.
when do we get the results for that?
Hopefully, could get them maybe in June, but that's.
Yeah, schools get them so that we can look at our own internal data, but we're not allowed to share them publicly until they release them, which is generally in February, which is when
Of
we
next year?
share.
Yes.
Yeah, we just
Oh, yeah.
looked at last year's, our
Yeah.
last
Super
success.
helpful.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Embargo.
They're not
Yeah.
particularly helpful for measuring, especially right now, since they changed the date of the assessment, and and the way the state reports is in this annual snapshot, that's not all that clear. But it is, of course, helpful information for teachers and teams if, Kosha spends a great deal of time with her team reviewing the data and looking at patterns and how it compares to other assessments we give. So we look at it internally over the summer and in the fall, but in conjunction with the rest of our data.
Is that something that can be shared, like, so say public safety can't be shared, committees, stuff like that, nothing, right?
Not until it's in February.
Is there a reason they make you wait so long to share it?
They say it has to do with clarifying the data and making sure that it's really accurate. I don't know the real reason.
And then I did want to ask, how are things looking for the apprentice fair? Because I've actually heard about it from different sources, so how many, what's the size of the scope?
At the moment, it's 44. 44 vendors / businesses will be here. We have about 32 that we're waiting to hear from. So it has the potential to be upwards of 70-some vendors, which represent a lot of Franklin County businesses, and some into Chittenden County as well. So we have everything represented from manufacturing to automotive to municipalities. We have Swanton and Enosburg coming as a municipality. Yeah, we have all kinds of, so at the moment there's about 44, electrical, manufacturing, construction, DEW, Vermont Heating Ventilation, lots of various organizations are coming to talk to the students. It's going to run from 10 to 2, like 10 to 10:45 time is for BFA freshmen will be here during that time, and it's just that group, so it's roughly about 200 kids. At 11 o'clock in comes Enosburg, Richford, that school district, the Franklin Northeast. They will be in from 11 to 11:45. Then there's about a half an hour off for the vendors to grab lunch up at the Abbey. And then NCTC and some of our juniors will go in from 12:15 to 1 o'clock. And then from 1:15 to 2 o'clock is MVU 7th graders and 10th graders.
Is there a reason 11th, 12th or not?
This was really, they really wanted to kind of gear it down towards some of the younger grades and provide them some opportunities to hear about other various businesses and some of the opportunities. There's a lot like done in career exploration and in some of the upper grades for those kids to hear about the opportunities. And they're just, when we worked our way through the aspirations program, what we found is, well, in 7th grade there was nothing career oriented, no college visits, there was nothing for them. And so they, when we kind of brought this idea all out, they wanted to include 7th grade for this, and then the 10th grade to give them, there might even be some apprenticeship opportunities for those 10th grade students. EEI? Yeah. Okay. So yeah, we've got a lot of various businesses, a lot of groups. It's a lot of coordination. It is next Wednesday here, so we're still working out a lot of logistics. We have a meeting just about every week for it. We have a meeting every Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. and we go through logistics. And yeah, Christy's on the group as well. And yeah, so we've got tables coming from McCracken's, and a lot of the expenses for this are being picked up by like the Franklin County Industrial Development Corporation, Vermont Department of Labor, Hireability. So they're picking up a lot of the cost for it. For us at MVU, there is no cost beyond our space. Really, that's it.
Okay. Well, I look forward to hearing how it goes.
Yeah.
So with the 6th graders coming in, 7th grade enrollment, and I apologize if this was already discussed prior to my arrival to the board, but what do the numbers look like for 7th grade right now?
For the incoming,
yeah.
incoming 7th grade?
Yeah.
Christy, do you have a pretty good handle on that? I am not entirely sure.
Yeah.
Slightly lower than what we have right now, so it's in the 159 range, 160.
Do we have any data that stretches that over some years, like just to see what it looks like year to year?
Yeah, I have, I put it in the annual report every year,
Okay.
our enrollment per grade, our average is like 135 kids per grade, and then we have that drops, as kids are seniors but in general, we have a range between 120 and so 159 is actually
That's high.
pretty good.
It's a good number.
Last year was 160 something, so.
There you go.
Thank you.
I just have a comment while Christie's up there on the screen. I really enjoy hearing about the activities that you promote that give students recognition. I think that's a point in their life when many of them are seeking and need some positive recognition, regardless of what they may or may not be doing. And I see that pop up quite often, and congratulations and thank you for doing it.
Thank you. They love it. They love to be recognized.
So I have something for Dan.
Yep.
Sorry, bouncing back and forth here. I was just curious, the Make-A-Wish came back to the Highgate Arena on Saturday night, I believe. So I know last year we had donated the Adirondack chairs. I believe we donated again. I'm just wondering how that went, or 'cause I wasn't there.
Okay. Yeah, Andy Godin, who is our Intro to Trades teacher, Intro to Ag. He, as part of their woodworking unit, they have the kids work on some various projects, and they did the Adirondack chairs again this year as well. This year, he also had his middle school students, if they wanted to do a certain project, they could. He had 3 students in the middle school that made called it a unique birdhouse. Not exact, I don't know how it was unique, but it was a unique birdhouse. And they also made some cornhole boards. And so the middle school piece of it, the lumber was donated through Hudak Farms. And I think what I heard, the birdhouse fetched $170 at the auction, which is fantastic for a birdhouse. The cornhole boards fetched $250. They had the 2 Adirondack chairs, which were $360 and $400 respectively. And they also made some raised beds, and the raised beds made $320. So I think overall, from the 5 things that they had, they made $1,500, raised $1,500 for Make-A-Wish. Yeah, so, yeah, so Andy and his group did a great job.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, you're welcome.
Anything else for Dan or Christy? Anything else you want to highlight we didn't get to?
Yeah, April's a busy month, but May's even busier, so it's coming. It's coming quickly. Yeah.
District office. Are there any questions from the board reports for any of the? Got a lot of admin here tonight. Wow, a full bench. Anyone have any questions based on the reports?
I have a quick question for Beth Ann. How has the response been to the announcement about the lack of transportation this summer?
Great question. It's actually been pretty calm. A lot of people, when we wrote a letter, I think I attached it in the report, just messaging out as to sort of the why behind it. And I think a lot of people understand. Julie's had my back in these conversations, and when we gave that additional context, they're like, okay, we get it. However, priority registration for our tutoring students and our ESY students started last Wednesday, and general registration opens tomorrow. So I know it's been a buzz in the community, but the actual announcement to everybody goes out tomorrow. So I might be speaking too soon on the response. But as far as the planning, the logistics go, it seems like we're able to support our families in what they need so far.
Good. Thank you.
Did you have something?
I did. I actually remember something. It's not in the board report, but it's under the part. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the musical is this week. So we have rehearsal tomorrow, but Thursday and Friday and Saturday, the musical Once Upon a Mattress. So if you have the opportunity to come on in and see that, that'd be great. The weather's not supposed to be great on Saturday, so it's a perfect time to come on in and watch a musical. Tickets are $10 at the door. And if you haven't seen it, the set is absolutely huge. It's the biggest set I've ever seen. It's a set of a castle, and it goes all the way to the ceiling of the theater. I've never seen one this big. It is absolutely monstrous. So they're rehearsing now at the moment, but they've got the elementary schools coming in tomorrow morning. And then first show is Thursday at 7 p.m. So it's Thursday and Friday at 7 p.m. and then Saturday 2 p.m. matinee and 7 p.m. in the evening. So if you get an opportunity, come on out and support our students. They've been working really, really hard. So.
I thought for a second you were going to say you found summer transportation.
No.
All right, music back. Okay, thank you, Dan. Anything else for? So I did have a question, Tanya. I was wondering if you could, you put in there, and I was trying to figure out the alternative program update, and then I saw in there ample nature-based opportunities, and it was a reference to Children and Nature Network. And then there was, you said you look forward to sharing the design plan with the board at a future meeting. So you meant now?
No.
Okay.
But I can share with you right now sort of where we're at.
Yeah, could you elaborate on that, what you meant by that?
So we've been meeting, there's a team that met sort of all in the last several months to really look at the district-wide data around students out of district, students receiving intensive supports in district, and we kind of analyzed that and tried to figure out why maybe the bubbles at certain grade levels, and took into consideration the statewide percentage of students that is sort of allowable to be out of district, and decided based on all the information that we were going to focus on elementary school, so a 3 to 6 program, in order to sort of front load some of those skills earlier on, so we didn't experience them more later on down the road. And so that's been sort of the target area. We used a framework to help us sort of think about mission, vision, all the components that would go into a program. Looked into the research around the supportive of students with emotional, behavioral, social challenges. We've kind of broken off now, and I'm working mostly with Colleen Pastina, who's our BCBA in the district, and we've been kind of looking at specific kids, getting information from principals around who could you imagine this this need for in another year. We've kind of been working with Laura and Jason around what could space look like, where could we be, and the thinking really is looking at some of the examples that we already have in district around outdoor experiences and hands-on experiences being really good for our kids specifically. We have that evidence, but the research now is really is robust around that as well. I think it's something that many of us have for years sort of innately understood and known about nature and being outside or doing hands-on activities, but the research right now is really supportive of it. And so we're looking to see what's feasible, right? So is it access to our outdoor classrooms for that age group? Is it working, more of sort of what Kurt has done with us in terms of being outdoors, nature-based sort of hikes or exploring the wildlife refuge, that sort of thing. And I've also been reaching out to Shelburne Farms, for example. They have an education for sustainability strand that they, work with teachers to develop that capacity. So I'm trying to work in partnership with them to see what could that look like. So just kind of right now we have lots of feelers out and trying to figure out what's the best approach. Simultaneously balancing who are the kids, and not getting too far ahead of ourselves with who are the kids and we want them until we hire a teacher, right? So, and we have space. So there's multiple sort of balls in the air right now around that.
And is this is exclusively for, I want to make sure I get the wording right, sort of like alternative programming for certain students. So this is not expanding the existing program for all students, right? And I just asked because, like, for instance, any, like Mr. K, any of like the things that involve being outside,
Yeah.
I know like my kids love it and a lot of kids do. So this is not for everyone. This is just more targeted.
Well, right now it's targeted,
Okay.
right? It's to meet a specific need, which is trying to give a certain cohort of our population access to highly engaging activities, at the same time teaching the social emotional skills and giving them access to the curriculum. So it is a targeted population right now, but I think my dream anyway, and I think that of the team, the task force that I've been working with, is really that we could expand out over time if we can build expertise and build some kind of experience with it. So even a few years ago when we were accessing Kurt, I know we kind of, for a couple of students in our district, Kurt Valenta, we called it like a pilot, right? We accessed it for a couple of students and watched how that went and how it played out, and if we felt like it was a good endeavor, right? And so now I think we're trying to move it into a little bit more of a program. But over time, it would be lovely if we could figure out a way to sort of stretch out, right? And connect elementary school to middle school program to high school program, because we've got, at different levels, we've got different programs in various renditions of their development, right? And I think on that team, we have sort of, and even through our strategic planning and our continuous improvement plan goals, we've identified place-based pedagogy really as a priority. So I think we want to build capacity to stretch that out eventually. I would love it if that were the case, that we were able to not only have a small cohort of students accessing that, but have enough opportunity for, we're kind of thinking about it in like enrichment, right? If there's a group of students that we know could benefit once a week, twice a week from an opportunity to be able to push it out that way a little bit.
I really like that. I'd be very interested to hear your future board design plan on that soon. So I think that's great.
Mr. Chairman, I just wanted to comment, and I think probably it's Julie who's responsible, but I enjoyed reading the way we are addressing truancy. I think I've probably heard many of the components at different times, but to have it right there in the report, black and white, or blue and white, was really good.
I also wanted to highlight one of our challenges has been, and it has unstuck a little bit recently, but once we get to a certain level and things are, affidavits need to go to the state's attorney's office, they've just been stuck in limbo. But recently, things have started to move, and I want to credit Christy and Celine for their dogged determination and many phone calls and emails.
Good.
And because it's really challenging when we have kids that just aren't coming to school, and we have, Celine does the team wraps around kids like you would not believe. But you do get to a point where something else needs to happen, and we're pleased to see that it's getting a little better, but it has a long way to go. And I know it's because our court system is overwhelmed. I do know that. But it's our kids coming to school is very important.
It's good to see that it's on our agenda, it's a priority, and keep it going.
So I'll kind of go down. Wendy, is there anything you want to kind of add on your report or something you wanted to highlight off of it?
Well, we'll be meeting with members from the AOE team next week to develop our collaborative improvement plan for the local special education determined results that I shared in the report. And I'm confident that not only have we already been working on some of the things that were noted back from the 22-23 school year, that we'll be able to come up with solutions to the things that came out of that report. So I look forward to sharing that down the road. Pre-K, just another update of a system that has also been overwhelmed, the UPK renewal system. It doesn't affect us because we just renewed, but it does affect some of our Act 166 partner sites. They're getting a little extra time between their renewal cycle because they're just not able to keep up with the process to renew programs to validate that they meet the qualifications for Act 166. We're still waiting on our STARS result. We did submit early for the new STARS renewal, and they are behind, and it's past the time that they said that they'd be sending things out. So we're patiently waiting for the feedback from that. But as I shared previously, the good news with that is that it's a no-fault year. So it's a great way for us to get feedback of what we're already doing, and then prepare ourselves for when that cycle really goes into place, that we have to show our program improvements. So.
Thank you. Kosha, the one thing I want to highlight is the Creative Family Experience coming up again at the end of the month.
Yes, next week, and I'm inviting everyone from the board, and please come. We are having Paul Reynolds, the author and illustrator, with his brother come again. This time it's going to be a STEM focus night. It's at Swanton this year.
Okay.
And we are inviting all our elementary families from Franklin, Highgate, and Swanton to come and participate. There's going to be a lot of activities, just like last year. So he will do a presentation, and then there's family activities that families can participate in with their children. And it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be STEM focused this time. So please do come if you have the time. It's next Thursday, the 17th, from 6 to 7:30.
All right. I went to that last year. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, so I hope you come again.
I'll be there. I'll try. Beth Ann, is there anything else you wanted to add on your report?
Yeah, we're really excited about summer programs. They're really starting to fall into place. So it's feeling good, and it's funny because, you start planning in November for summer, and now it's actually really starting to happen. So we're optimistic that it'll be a great summer, even if its benefit diminished. We're still super psyched about what we can do. A lot of our team leaders are just focusing on supporting all kinds of cool initiatives. So at the literacy night, or the STEM focused night, next week they'll be there supporting Kosha, which I'm super happy about. And some of my team is supporting the apprenticeship fair next week. Lots of little things like that. It's really neat to see where this team is able to support the school in a more in a broader way, and then seeing where our team leaders are really starting to develop and grow. We actually have onboarded, I think, 5 new team leaders in the past month, thanks to our new leadership liaison, Audrey Barnier. It's been a really successful team leadership program so far. So we have a lot of great things kind of bubbling under the surface right now.
Thank you. And the last thing I just wanted to add, Julie, I know you put a legislative update in there. The only thing I just kind of want to say on that is my understanding is not much is going to happen right now. So
by the time I write them, things change.
Yeah.
But I feel the need to write them anyway. They did just pass H454 out of House Ways and Means today, and it's going to appropriations and from there. So we'll see.
yeah, we'll see. But everything I seem to hear and read is we probably won't get much out of the session this year. So the good news is we can just kind of keep doing what we need to be doing right now. So anything else for the directors, Edmund? All right, well, thank you for coming. Be careful out there. The weather it's April. So, yay, it's April in Vermont, so keep your snow tires on. Thank you, Christy.
Hey, Rennick, I did want to fix my mistake. I don't know if I can just blame just being in the car half the day, but I added Highgate twice to our registration numbers, so it's 119, which is a little bit lower. I don't think we have quite everyone, but we're probably only missing a couple kids, just so you know.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, next item, we have Title VI certification update action.
Yes, so quite a bit in the news since Friday around this matter. We got notification Friday around 4 o'clock, which is usually when the Secretary of Education sends us notifications, that we had, the state was given 10 days to certify compliance with Title VI of the Civil Rights Act, which we do all the time. Every grant we sign, I have to sign assurances all the time. that we follow federal law, and which we do, and all schools do, and the state is committed to doing that. But there's new interpretations of what that might mean that are not actually written in law. So there is a lot of concern about what it meant to be signing off an additional certification and what that could open local districts to. No, the only other state that was doing this way was North Carolina. All the other states, some were suing, some came out and said, we're just not doing this, we already do it. And then most others just wrote a letter and we're gonna be certifying, yes, we're complying with Title VI of the Civil Rights Act. So we, all of our organizations met. I know the trustees of the Vermont Superintendent's Association met Monday morning with Charity Clark and the Attorney General and Zoe Saunders and multiple education lawyers, trustees, and their executive director, and explained concerns. Meanwhile, many superintendents were coming out saying, I'm not signing anything like this. So then the multiple organizations got together and explained their concerns about why this was not the right way to go about it. And by last evening, the Agency of Ed reversed course, and now they are going to be certifying on behalf of the state of Vermont and not requiring local superintendents to do so. So I did put this on for action. I was glad you brought it up. I was in a meeting at noon going through all of this, so I was coming out to do that anyway at the end of that meeting. And I contacted our school attorneys to get their advice in case the board was going to need to take some action on this matter. And we don't need to. So stay tuned for more tempests and teapots, because I can only imagine that there will be more activity like that.
I'm sure of it.
Okay. Well, thank you. That's obviously a lot of work on your end to just stay
What we do.
current with all that. Okay. Next item is SRO update.
Mr. Scott. I'll clean stuff out.
Thank you guys for having me here tonight.
Is this online or?
Thank you. This is, I'm getting it now. But I will scan this and put it in the board drive.
I just meant for anyone watching.
I'm sorry?
Just for anyone watching.
Right. I just don't have a copy of it. Thank you.
Thank you.
All good? Floor's yours. So for you that don't know me, my name is Dean Scott. I'm a police officer of the Swan Police Department. I've been a police officer about 22 years, also a retired paramedic. I'm now assigned to MVU as the school resource officer. I've been here about 4 years, a little over 4 years. In those 4 years, learned a lot with making what's the word I'm looking for? Connections with the students. It's been different. When I first started, they were, didn't know me, I didn't know them, but now I've been here 4 years, I kind of got that connection with them, so it's working much better, it seems like, in the fourth year here. Our responsibilities include maintaining order and safety for both the students and staff, foster a positive, secure atmosphere for learning. Other things I do is I mediate disputes, seems like on a daily basis. Provide law enforcement education. I do some classes with Mr. Barney. Then we go down to the PD and do some handcuffing and show them all about the stuff at the PD. Do that about 4 times a year. Respond to emergencies, any emergencies here in the building. Patrol the school grounds. One thing I try to do every day is check the the doors. Try to do that maybe twice a day, make sure it's secure after the school starts. There's 41 exterior doors in here, so it takes a little bit to make sure they're all set and propped open. Also involved in developing safety plans, including the recent transition we did from ALICE protocol to the standard response protocol. And additionally, I participate in the threat assessment team, which we have met 3 times in the last 3 days for different situations. I think it's a great team. We get together and there's people from different areas of walks of life, teachers, myself, social workers and stuff that come together and kind of discuss what the current situation is with said student.
Does that team only meet when there's something going on?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so we've all been trained on how to do a threat assessment, and then it's made up of guidance counselors, school psychologists, Steve Messier, the Dean of Students, Dean, myself, special educators, anybody else who may know the student pretty well. So we will invite anybody in who might have some other piece of it that we don't have to help kind of form a better picture of what's going on. And so any single time that we have threats of violence directed towards personnel at the school or from school student to student, we call a threat assessment team meeting together. And as Dean mentioned, we had one on Friday, we had one yesterday after school, and we had one this morning at 7:30. And it just, that team gets together and Steve usually calls the meeting, and then there's a standard list of questions that we go through, and we all try to chime in and fill in blanks to get a complete picture of really what's going on.
I believe the state has mandated a certain protocol that we follow, questions and stuff like that.
And there's a policy that they've just released. The Agency of Ed was tasked with creating guidelines and a mandated policy. They have not done the guidelines. The mandated policy was just released, but it's not ready yet. So we're reviewing it as a school administrative team. But it's the main thing is that we use an evidence-based protocol and have trained personnel to really look at, in a non-biased way, at our students and whether they are a threat to themselves or others, and then make a plan with the appropriate people. And it works very well. And it comes out of, was it the NSA? It was Secret Service, I think it was, that created the tool to begin with. Yeah.
Correct. It's a list of 15 questions, maybe I can't
About
remember.
50, yeah, it's about 12 questions.
Yeah. You go down the list kind of for each student, for each situation, the same questions. And then we deliberate after that, but moving forward.
Recommended course of action, or whatever it may be, which is almost always different, depending on the situation.
And looking at like the incident location, so you cover more than just MVU?
Yes. I go to the elementary school quite a bit.
Yeah.
A lot of these are just the incidents that I record on our CAD system. A lot of times I don't make a case if it's not something I need to record.
Yeah.
So I'll go there quite often to help with Chris Dodge and stuff like that with situations. Also, our RISE program at the church, I go there quite often to situations that arise. A lot of times it's not enough for me to make a case of it. I won't be here in this forum.
So Officer Scott, this data here on the incident location, is that involving students?
Yes.
Is it all related to students, right?
All these calls I've done as an SRO for students, yes.
Okay.
I think there's 99 calls this year so far, or incidents that I've logged. I think this same time last year was 121, so a little less than. You'll see that there, you can see what each incident is, call type. A lot is juvenile problems, which could be anything from a fight to some other situation with them. There's some threatening, suspicious. A lot of the tickets are, it says civil other, is a civil violation for tobacco possession, which nowadays is a vape. It's not, they don't have cigarettes in school anymore as it used to be. So it's a vape possession. It's a ticket for $25. We do issue that to try to curb that situation. The only thing, if they don't pay the $25, they don't get their license. So it's kind of a thing that we can use to abuse to try to.
And I would say that since we've kind of started that, having Officer Scott and having him issue the ticket, that the amount of vape incidents that we've had has decreased dramatically. Last year when Amy Brewer came to collect the vapes that we had literally a full like gallon-sized bag of vapes, which would have been worth thousands of dollars. But she just came recently and we had very few. So the number of incidents has decreased dramatically.
And if they caught more than once, is it $25 per?
It's still $25. That's by the state, but it's actually like a traffic ticket, so that actually goes against your license, which a lot of them are the 15-year age kind of like, so 14, 15, so they have to have their license, of course. So I'd like to see the state kind of raise that or do something a little more like a seatbelt thing where it doubles. If you get caught again, because the $25, and as we know nowadays, $25 you can't buy dinner at McDonald's. So it's not a lot of money. It could go up a little more. Your parents are probably the one paying it anyway. But, it's just kind of deterrent. We're trying to do some education on vape. Working with I can't remember it starts with an X. Maybe you're. I'm trying to think of the modules. They do some modules. Some SEL modules. There's a team that has the. I never remember. There's 3 letters, right?
OVX.
OVX, yes.
Yes.
So I work with them to kind of do some.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. It's one of those.
Our voices.
Exposed.
Yeah.
So are there any specific questions for the SRO for Dean about this data or something else connected or related?
I had one. What constitutes community outreach?
Community outreach, kind of like tonight would be a community outreach for me. Doing classes, doing presentations, anything I do out in the community kind of thing. Be classified under, because there's only so many fields that I can
Right,
from.
yeah.
So that one that we use for when we do classes and speeches.
So like tonight would be a community outreach?
Yes.
But that falls under an incident type?
Yes, the incident type. Yeah, that's the only one.
Because there's almost like the way I read it, like I assume that's a negative.
That's
thing.
what I was thinking. I was like the second
it's
highest. So.
positives, and there's no real positive. We call it start a case. It's a case on it, so it's basically it's where we are basically. So it's a case.
So talking to the board is a case?
Yeah.
Right? Like I have to go to the board and call me out of vandalism or something else. Okay, I get it. I won't take it
We're running to
personally.
graduate, so come back and help us.
We don't log a lot of positive things. It's sad to say, but you know what I mean. I'm not saying this is not positive. I'm just saying that under our list of things that we have, there's not a lot that say. So community outreach is kind of the only one we can use for stuff like this.
Are there other board members that have questions?
I have
for
another, yeah, I have another one. So, are you the sole, and I should know this, so I apologize. Are you the sole SRO for the district?
Yes, actually assigned here at MVU, but yeah, for the district, I try to help out as much as I can.
Okay.
Other schools.
And do you feel like you do you feel like that's enough? Or do you feel like we should look at?
Would like to see some in the elementary schools. There's increased stuff. Even the vaping situation is in the elementary schools nowadays. So I'd like to see
Constantly.
maybe like one that could rotate through the elementary schools.
Yeah.
I don't know if you need one in every school. In a perfect world, yes, in every school it would be great that we have somebody there. But
I asked because, it's at least the parents and SWAT school students know, like there have been a couple incidents over the last 2 weeks. It's like 1 week something, 1 week something. And so like as a parent of an elementary school student, I want to, of course, make sure that all of our kids are safe. And if you're primarily based here and there's any sort of situation going on at the elementary school, even just the 5 minutes it takes you to get down there, a lot can change. So even thinking of having to get all the way out to Franklin.
yeah, I haven't had that come up, but not really prepared for that, I guess you want to say. There's hopefully somebody closer than me out there. Same way with Swan Elementary, we have officers on duty down in the village, so they'd respond.
So you go and like in support?
Yeah, I mean, they would be there first.
Understood.
Yeah.
Okay.
If there's a situation.
Okay, that's good to
Which
know.
was, which happened the other day was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fairly typical. He'll come and be like, I gotta leave the building, I got an incident to go deal with down at Swan School. Okay, yep, no problem. So he'll let us know when he's going off campus, so. But yeah, it's been fair, unfortunately, like you say, far too common for other incidents to occur.
Mhm. And we did, as a board, discuss adding a second position to the budget. It was when there was a previous chief and they had a grant, and then COVID happened and that grant went away. So we really weren't able to move forward because it was going to be partially funded.
Right.
So
I remember the initial conversation, then I wasn't
we
on
did
board.
explore that, but then the board determined that without this grant funding, we weren't gonna be able to continue.
I think it'd be something worth looking at on a regular basis, just to make sure that we're not missing anything, and that if there is an increased need, that at least we have the conversation.
Maybe when we start budgets next September,
Yeah.
can even look at the possibility for part-time one.
There is still the COPS grant, what they call, which I was on when I
Right.
first started. I believe it's still in play, it's just it's something you gotta apply for. There's a lot of paperwork to it and all that, PD, but they still provide that.
You don't apply for it, they do.
Yeah, Chief Sullivan would apply for it, but I'd need to.
Yeah, so it's something to look at. 'Cause I think
Work,
it's a 3-year, I don't, for certain percentage.
I think it is, I think it's,
And you have to pay for the last year.
and then, correct, and then the district bears the responsibility after that.
Yeah.
We commit to a certain number of years.
Do you cover the after-school and summer program?
I'm in and out kind of in the summertime, I kind of, depends on if the school program's here, I'll be here.
So, but, I mean, for instance, I mean, there's, programs run during the school day till
Yep.
sometimes 5, 6 o'clock. So are you still in and around to support that? And then there's 5 weeks of programs that we're gonna have.
Not usually that late, I mean, like 5, 6, depends on what the situation is, I guess, but usually in normal school day time.
You're usually done at 4, right?
Yeah, usually around 4. I mean, that's something I can adjust my schedule, especially in the summertime, it's, if, we're
Is
having
it,
some
is the
special-
position that you're in year-round?
Yes.
So when there's no school, it's just like extra time for you to help the community and other
Yep.
things?
Yep.
Yes, first and foremost, he's a Swan police officer.
Yeah, so
who,
that's just what I'm trying to
you know,
understand. So
who
you're,
has their
police officer,
shifts and
yeah.
their,
So it's
their
their
working
I get
shift.
assigned
conditions.
here for the.
and they assign you
school
here, okay. Something to look into, I guess, maybe if there's a need.
And it's pretty common. We're usually in contact. I know we were texting last night about an incident involving a young man within the community. You know, we're texting back and forth constantly of what do you know, what do you hear, you know, if I heard anything. And so we're constantly in communication around that. And so it's very helpful to have him around. And if something goes on the weekend involving a family that we're unaware of, you know, Dean will, if he can, would fill us in best that he can on a situation. So that's been very helpful as well. So.
Just, you know, we're here and the community does have questions about security, safety, stuff like that. I mean, my main question is, how are things overall, right? Like, are they trending down, trending up about the same? Do you feel like overall just?
I think they're trending down myself.
Okay.
I think that this last year has been really good. We've had maybe one incident that was, and I'm sure you guys are all familiar with the vandalism in the bathroom. We had some problems with Depot bathroom. We did end up charging them as juveniles. I think after that, things kind of straightened out. They got the word that we're not going to keep putting up with this. And since then, I think we've had a fairly well. I don't want to jinx us.
I think the vape data is a good indication.
Yeah. We were fortunate enough, Dean came across a video of some vandalism being done in the bathroom, and we knew who the people were. We were able to charge them. They went to court for it, and I think that really sent the message of like, hey, this is real. This is what's going to happen. And so a lot of the incidents, we haven't seen the physical breaking of equipment, that we see, you know, the writing and things along that line still, the graffiti, but it's, you know, a lot of the physical breaking of stuff has really kind of slowed down, which has been good. It's also helped that there hasn't been a lot of TikTok videos around, you know, create school violence, create school mayhem, that type of stuff, which came out during COVID. There was, I think most people like were aware of that. There was stuff, and you know, kids would go into a bathroom and just take a pencil and jab a soap bag, you know, for hand soap, and there goes $30 leaking out on the floor because that's what a soap bag costs. And they were just doing it to be mean and just doing it for giggles. So, but we've really seen, a lot of schools have seen a lot of that decrease.
Okay. Is there anything else for Dean?
No, I'd like to just add what Megan, on top of what Megan said, is if the grant is a possibility, is that something we need to talk about sooner than later? Because I know that process takes a long time.
Right, you would need to let me know that you were interested, and then I would get a meeting with Chief Sullivan and have a conversation about their willingness to do that, and then the board would have to decide, yes, we would participate in that grant, because it's they apply for the grant, but then we have to commit.
Is there a desire to put that on a future agenda item and then talk about it?
There is for me, yeah.
Yeah,
Is it
I think we
possibility
should.
to get that, yeah.
Can you add that to a future item to Gus and possibly see like what we'd be looking at?
So, I just want to say on that note too, on the elementary level and also on the middle school, high school level is, the dean's not just here to, well, hopefully he's not just here to, you know, help out with issues. I think on an elementary level, it would be nice as just a positive person to see in the school. That when you see a police officer, it's not because something bad is happening. It's just, it's a police officer. They're helpful. You know, they're not just here to put cuffs on somebody or, you know, write up a report. It is a positive thing also.
But I see that a lot now, being here 4 years. You first started, you know, they look at me as a police officer, you know,
Right.
Especially if I had to deal with them or give them a ticket or arrest them. But now they're coming into my office all the time, you know, we're friends now, you know, so it's that relationship building. And same way I think would be in the elementary school.
Yeah.
The kids get that relationship and feel
Yeah,
comfortable
come
with the
to
police
you
officer.
for help.
Yeah, exactly.
Instead
Know
of,
how to do that.
yeah.
They see them on a daily basis.
And also some extra support for you.
Yeah, definitely.
So-
I would love to have, so because when we have a situation down there, I'm kind of torn from here to there, so I gotta do which one's the first priority.
Okay. So we'll add that to a future item and try to see if we can make that work.
And just one last question for me, sorry. When kids are caught or students are caught for vaping, are all students held on the same, get the same penalty, or are student athletes, is that held a little differently, or is it just across the board, everybody is?
They're all held to the same standard.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, they kind of discuss that, and then they kind of refer it to me for the ticket. Same way with like marijuana possession. We have a Act 51 meeting, get together and talk about it, and then they refer that to me to either write a ticket if they're over the age of 16, or if they're under, then they have to go to court to answer to that charge of possession of marijuana. Thankfully, we don't have a lot of that. It's once or twice a year that we deal with that. That and alcohol is the same kind of deal.
Good. All right, well, thank you, Dean. I really appreciate that.
you.
Can write that
Anytime you
incident
have any
report
questions.
up. Yeah. Survived the board.
Anytime you have any questions, I'm always, feel free to call or stop in.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Dean.
Okay. Okay, next item, we had a board retreat update. Kind of open this one. I want to thank Julie for helping facilitate. We had a good meeting with Debbie from the VSBA. She is going to be available to facilitate a board retreat for the board members. It's actually going to be next week, so the 16th is.
Yes.
Yes, the 16th next week, and it's going to be here in the MVU library, correct?
Yes.
We had a good discussion. I think she's going to help us, you know, kind of talk about the fundamentals, right? We can go over governance. We can go over, like, you know, a little bit more about sort of our committee, our goals. So I think that's going to be a good opportunity for the board to just, like Joanne likes to say, new member, new board. Joanne, did you want to add?
No, I think you're doing good. I have some notes on the kitchen table, and that's where my notes are, on the kitchen table.
Gotcha, okay.
You know, one of the things I think that you had asked for when we were talking to Debbie was just, you know, a refresher of roles and responsibilities of board members, you know, just to bring us back to where we need to be and help us if we were to look at a 2 or 3 year plan, you know, what that could look like. So just kind of keep us on track.
Yeah, and I want to thank Julie for helping set that up. You know, in kind of talking with Debbie, I think it makes sense for us as a board to have one meeting where we kind of focus inward on ourselves and how are we doing with our governance, a refresher of the roles and responsibilities and like the governance level items, and then that way when we roll into a retreat and we're talking more sort of the strategic plan and different things and how it's going, you know, we have a better sense of how it's been for us and what we can, you know, what we can do better or what we need to change or adapt, or again, just a refresher too, because who sat on Phil Grover's here? I know you were Dawn or Peter.
Mm-hmm. I was still.
Do we have readily available the goals that we set the last time we met?
Yeah, we do.
We do.
Yeah,
So all those will come, we just refresh our memory by doing that.
Yeah. You'd like a
Yeah, just-
we
yeah.
could do we can have a list available for Wednesday.
You know, I'm sure I can
or
find it, and do a
beforehand.
little hunting around, but it'd be just nice to bring it out.
Would you like it beforehand? Would you like the goals before the meeting, or just bring them to the meeting?
I
to
think
the
before the
retreat?
meeting, that's fine, I think before the meeting.
Okay.
I can get the board goals to you,
Yeah.
not the district.
Yeah,
The
but the
board
board
goals you're
goals,
talking,
I'll come
okay.
back to the board goals. So and I don't know when, but I know somewhere in the last 3 or 4 months, and I was pulling together stuff for income tax, et cetera, I found them, but I find them tomorrow.
Income tax.
Yeah.
You filed those
I have a big
Interesting
box.
filings.
I have a big box of important things, and income tax is one of them.
Okay.
But, no, that would be good. But I do have one question. It's at 6 o'clock, right? Does that mean we should eat before we get here?
No, we wanted to talk about what you would like, you know, do you want, I think we're hoping to do pizza because it's
Pizza.
pretty easy and respectful of the librarian. But if that would work for people, pizza and
It
drinks.
works, but to me, it was either or, because I do have to keep my blood sugar level, so I didn't want to get here and find out that we weren't.
We'll make sure.
So, okay.
Any questions about that? Any other board members?
Anything we need to do in advance, prep in advance?
Joanne, we can just kind of send out the goals maybe a little ahead of time.
Sure.
And that way you can kind of look at it, especially for the new members. Kind of take it in, read it, digest it, and then the other thing too is Debbie's going to help facilitate. She's going to be there for the whole meeting. So she has kind of, you know, some refreshers and good activities for us to, again, talk about. Goals might kind of fall to the end of the meeting. In the beginning, we're going to talk more about governance. So I think overall it'll be good. Julia, anything else you want to add on that?
Nope.
That kind of does roll into committee discussion follow-up from last meeting. I have some thoughts, but was there any? I think part of that actually might make more sense to talk about in a retreat, but I want to kind of, is there anything to say about that right now?
I think we can save it for the retreat.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Had good discussion on it, and I think that's something we can talk about then.
While we're on that topic, tomorrow night is Ag Committee,
Yes.
and anybody's welcome to come to the Ag Committee. I think Richard does a good job. He's highly organized, and I think with his leadership and Julie's finding us some good teachers, that program has really been on the move in a positive way. But don't think that just Joanne and I need to go. Feel free to come by for part of it or all of it. It's down in J-Pod, is that what we call it?
Yep, J-Pod, J24.
J24, and hopefully there'll be some community members there. We've had some good attendance by a few people, and we've had quite a few people that have come once or twice, but it's really, community engagement's really the whole thrust of it, in my opinion. Getting engaged with businesses, not only farmers, but business people, anybody that has any relationship to ag, including bankers, so doing that. So, anyway, just want to make that plug.
Teach a
Thank you.
seminar tomorrow night.
No, I'm not suggesting it. No, but we have had some people from there.
Okay, good. Next item, we have the business office. We have the check warrants. Elaine, it's your show.
Okay. We have accounts payable, $787,477.27. Payroll checks, $45,238.03. Payroll other disbursements, $1,844,062.69. Payroll deductions, $755,465.72, for a total of $3,432,243.71.
Can I get a motion to approve the check warrants as read?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second the motion.
I'll second.
Sarah, already second.
Okay.
Just waiting.
Nothing wrong with the third.
All in favor of approving the check warrants as read?
Yeah, aye. We were all so eager to jump in.
It's been a long week.
All right.
Tuesday. I'm with you.
Fair enough.
I can't wait to
Yeah.
talk to you.
Everyone's confused. It's snowing outside.
I know.
It's throwing us all off.
Okay, motion carries 8-0. Next, Bonnie, there's a new professional hires.
Yep. Yes, I'm happy to do it. Bonnie has been working tirelessly, getting out contracts. Our teacher contracts were sent back, the deadline was Friday. And then we have a number of people who have asked for an extension. But these are the first two of many to come of our,
not many.
hopefully, well, all of the positions that are vacant, we want to fill. So we have from this is the hiring season, so we'll be seeing this on every agenda. Today I have two new employees for you. I have Amy Topping, who's not a new employee, but she was the music teacher in Swanton, and she went home after she had maternity leave, and she is back, and she is going to be in Highgate. We have a vacancy there, and as a music teacher in Highgate, and we're very pleased to have her back. I enjoyed meeting her. I obviously met her before, but she was hired before I came here, so I didn't have that one-on-one time with her. So that was nice. That's my favorite. It's one of my favorite things that I get to do is have that one-on-one time with each new hire. And just yesterday, I met with Dan Bennett. Excuse me, my eyes are not as good as they used to be. And he is coming to MVU as a new business teacher, and we're very excited to have him. So I recommend both those hires for the board to approve.
Well, first, make the motion of our discussion. Can I have a motion to approve the new hires?
I'll make the motion.
Elaine, can I have a second?
I'll second.
Ooh.
Oh my gosh. Okay,
Is it gonna be a race all day?
Give it to Stephanie.
Stephanie, you get the adjournment.
Do something else.
All right,
Elaine and Stephanie, is
It's
that
not
how we're
even
gonna-
late.
okay. Any discussion? All right, well, I think that's great. So all in favor of approving the new professional hires, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, abstain, motion carries 8-0. All right, future agenda items, we got guidance, VSAC aspirations. I am looking forward to that.
Work-based learning. after
Work-based
school.
learning, updates after school, continuous improvement, strategic planning, end of year data.
I added possible SRO edition on there.
Do we need to have the, oh my gosh, the Vermont Rural Education
That's up to the.
I thought that we had said that we would
Do that.
address it at a future.
We had
board.
put that off to discuss at a future time.
Right.
I don't think it's necessary in the
I
near future.
asked at the meeting that we do it in May, that we do it by the end of May.
Okay.
I didn't say in May.
Okay.
That, and I know, knowing the gentleman is here, I'm sure he knows that, but I was clear. I think it's going to be a challenge for us to come to an agreement on what we're going to do. But I don't think we should just leave it hanging out there. If we don't want to do it, we should say we don't want to do it. Go from there, and if we do, we should do that. So I would ask as a board member that it be on a meeting agenda before the end of May.
Do I have some sort of their opinions on it?
Yeah, I think that we had told Jay that we would bring it back up for further discussion. So I just, to Don's point, I don't want to not close the loop on that, or have him feel like we didn't close the loop on it.
So just make a note, end of May.
I have one I'd like to add at some point.
Sure.
Last year, I was going back through some notes when I was doing income tax, throwing stuff away. But last year I had a note to ask Laura to come in and share with us as kind of a reorganized business and finance department. But we kept voting on budgets, and so I dropped the idea about the second time around. But at some point, I know that when I call, sometimes I get business managers, sometimes I get operations and finance and whatever. But I would be interested in knowing who do we have there and what are the kind of job descriptions. Very important part of the operation. And I ask it now because I have a past budget and we're going into a different season. So does it have to happen next month? No, but before we get too far into our next budget year, just like to know some of the people. I'm sure some have retired in the last 5-6 years. But I don't think we've had an update for quite a time. But all a pretty big part of our operation. So maybe nobody else is interested. Man, I'd just like to sit down, but I know that if they don't do their jobs well, we're all in trouble. So it'd be nice to know who's there, what their job descriptions are like.
They're a hardworking team for sure.
Yeah.
Yes, they are.
But you know, the thing is, I have to tell you that I could meet one of them on the street that's doing a heck of a good job and have a clue who they were or what they were doing. So, anyway, something to consider.
Absolutely.
We can do another update in one of our district newsletters with Lord, because we've done that in the past.
Seeing as we have a minute or two, is there anything that other board members would like to see that we could potentially plan for, or something that maybe throughout the year? We talked a lot about budget. Is anything else we can kind of forecast out? All right, so I think after the retreat, I think some of those things will be a little clearer. All right, good. Anything else, Julie?
For future board meetings, we talked about canceling the second April meeting.
So
I
we
didn't
have
know whether but we were discussing that because we were hoping that the retreat would take the place of it. And now it's taking the place of another meeting. So I wasn't sure whether you wanted to have a second meeting in April. And if we had a second meeting in April over the school vacation, which would be the regular week, we wouldn't have any presentations or anything, because people would be on vacation. It would just be
school vacation is the
22nd.
The 22nd.
Do the 21st.
So that would mean that. So our next meeting would be on the 13th.
Yes,
Unless we did the 29th.
unless we did the 29th, which we had planned, but I would want to let Highgate know in case there's anything that we wanted to present there. It's tricky because when we're talking about future board agenda items, a lot of what the board wants to hear is at the end of the year because that's when we have the information. And so we have a lot of action in May and June. And then again in September, et cetera. But it's kind of a quiet April. I feel like I'm jinxing something by
Yeah.
saying that.
Well, there's a lot
So I
going
didn't
on.
know. It's up to the board.
quiet ones. The 29th, I won't be able to make that. If we did it on the 29th, I can't make it.
If we don't have a lot of urgent business, let's tell our administrators, take a break, because when they come back in May and June, it's gonna be hell.
It's gonna be busy.
Even on good days, it's tough. So, let's not even worry about a board meeting unless it's something really critical.
And I just wanted to clarify, because the board talked about canceling the board meeting to do a retreat, and that's what you're doing. And we could reschedule our student success committee if you wanted to do that. And I'll talk to Joanne about that. No need to decide that right now.
Okay. Stephanie, what do you think?
I will be here.
Okay,
Well, if it's
you're-
the 22nd, I can make it, but
Okay,
not the 29th.
We're playing home against BFA, the softball team, varsity, so I would be here to be maybe a little tardy, but
I'm available, but if there isn't one needed, then I'm fine with not having a meeting, other than I'll speak to Julie.
I make a motion, we have no April meeting unless an emergency arises.
So, and I'm trying to give everyone a chance to talk.
That's okay.
Right?
I'm still making a motion,
Yes.
you have to discuss it.
I'm fine either way.
Forgot Peter. All right, do we need a motion for that?
No, you don't, but I got your attention.
All right, so we're just not gonna have.
That's fair
meetings.
enough. Perfect. So then the next regular board meeting would be May 13th.
May 13th, yeah.
Seems here at MVU.
It does seem.
That's when we have the guidance presentation.
Got it. All right, that works. So, I don't have anything else.
Peter's up.
My turn?
Your turn.
I move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
8-0, we are adjourned.
it's usually just.
Wow, 7-2-1.
I figured Ricardo was just gonna talk more.
Some exceptions.
I wish it did.